this is the issue between, we are not in the saving, people cannot save other people. And here comes that we need to surrender to the hopelessness or powerlessness. The powerlessness of knowing I cannot save anyone.
Right.
The only thing I can do in life is support and help. You can save person in a moment, but you cannot really, luckily I learned that when I was 16, 17, in the winter someone tried to kill themselves inside Copenhagen we have some disgusting dirty water, and he jumped for a bridge and I jumped after him and I got him in, and I was not really old, and the fire department, and I got a very bad infection because this water is, I saved this guy's life just so he could kill himself 2 months later. You cannot, if people, that's happened. If someone wants to die, yes, I can save you today, but I cannot save you. So it's working with this powerlessness and then finding out what kind of boundaries do you need to make with yourself.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah. Because I did that with a friend that was drinking himself to death, where I stood up and said, I love you, I'm here for you, but I will not see you or be with you as long as you are destroying yourself like this, because it's destroying me in contact with you.
Right.
Any day you want help, you just call, I'm here. He didn't do that, he drank himself to death. But you need to take care of yourself.
Right.
I'm powerless. And it's so painful. So I need to get help with my pain, but getting caught in there is destructive. Really. And then you're just part of destroying even more people around you. And all the I'm not good enough and the will structure I ought to, that has this, early will structure have this sense that I can first be loved when I have saved the world. So being able to set a boundary and letting go, it's triggered the fear of never being loved then, from that character structure. No? Because you have to remember, will structure do not know the difference between giving up and letting go. So whenever they are taught, everyone say you need to give up, you need to let go. Inside of them, it's equivalent giving up. And that means then I give up on my hope of being loved. So they have combined it a little like this together. Can you understand that? It's very interesting because when you ask a will structure, physical to let go, you will often see in your therapy room, if you give them something in the hand and say, you need to let go of this, then they will take this out, and the moment they let go, they will do this. They will collapse. This is giving up. Letting go, you do not collapse. You stay with your dignity. But this is not dignified. Physically, this is not dignified. So you can even see it physically. Whoa, this is a will structure. Collapse. But letting go do not mean push away either. You need to tell him that.
Yeah, so if somebody does that, like you're doing that letting go exercise with a client, and then they collapse, do you invite them into the body now and say, okay, let's track some sensations?
Yes.
Before you collapse, and then after you collapse?
Well, I noticed this, and then I'm telling them, well, in my perception, you are not letting go here, you give up something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them will say, what's the difference? And then I will practice the movement of doing this and holding yourself forward. And then I will ask them to do it again, like they normally do it, and I will work with how is this sensing in your body different?
Slowing it down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I just add one
Yeah, well, of course.
Because
It's still a democracy here.
people ask about whether the body knot works. You know, is it just interpersonal or does it work on yourself? The answer is mutual connection says it works individually. That which you can do in connection, you can do with yourself. So the illusion of saving is also applies to ourselves. We can't even save ourselves. We can support ourselves. But the reason I bring it up is because I noticed that the way it manifests individually is a person wants a guarantee. If I do these things, it's going to work out. And which is a different kind of illusion of saving as applied to the inner connectedness. And you don't get it. The best you can do is support yourself enough to open up to your life. I just wanted to add.
There is no island where it all turns out.
It doesn't.
There is no island where it all turns out.
Shit.
That's the situation.
And if I go into my will structure, I can even sense the physical, I won't accept it. Because this is part of the will structure. No! No, the protest in still trying to save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safety.
Saving comes a lot when we are between 2 and 4 in will structure. There the child often, they have a healthy altruism. They like to help, they like to make the table, doing things, taking your suitcase. They're really like, and very often they have this, they can get into this experience that they need to save mom or dad or their parents' relationship because their parents are so caught up in something, their crisis, and because the child has the natural altruism, they can be stuck in, okay, so I need to be a good girl or a good boy, or I need to support mommy's headaches or whatever, because then when mommy feels better, then there is time for her to love me. So in the saving part in the child, there is the illusion that if I can do this, then I will be loved. Then she will have time for me. You know, if I can protect her against father, because it's also the age, or mother against whatever, then, and it's, in this child, it comes into the saving, because an issue in a will structure is the illusion of almighty powerful or the powerlessness. And so they have the illusion that power means I can save. If I only love you more the right way you need to be loved, then you will stop drinking. These illusions, if I only take care that the house is clean every time you come home, you won't be tired. No? It's like I have to do something to create a place for you to be better. This comes from will structure, 2 to 4. And you have to remember, in will age, a child can lift more than their own weight. That's pretty incredible. You know?
They're like ants.
It's not that complication. Think about it. So they can lift more than the weight themselves. So that's how powerful they are. And of course in that, they can very easily get into this disturbancy that they are almighty powerful. Particularly if they are met of parents who cannot handle their power, or suppressing their power, or using their power you did some of the parent-child exercises. So in will structure, you remember the one where the parent hangs on the child? and saying, oh good, we have each other.
Mhm.
Here comes an illusion. No? Here the parent gives the child a totally disturbed illusion of the child's abilities.
Yeah.
But in the connection and in wanting to be loved, we eat it raw. No? Of course we do. No?
I just want to, there was one other thing that was really important. You talked about the will to let go, right? It feels like you give up, right? The will to, and there's, I want to talk from the positive side, the resource side. So one way that why it's so hard to let go of it is we attach a lot of hope to it. Hope and the illusion of love, but also caring. And this is something that I've observed, and it's something that there's a person protects their way of caring. Caring is not an absolute. The ability to mirror and connect, maybe, unless you're psychopathic, but caring is, what caring means is different for everybody. And for the person in this situation, if I let go, I will lose the ability to care, or I don't care anymore. That's the way for this illusion of saving is really powerful, because something really human and really important and really valuable gets attached to it. You protect your ability to care. But then you become a caregiver. You become in the role constantly of taking care of people, or as opposed to having a kind of an ownership of your empathy. And I just wanted to say that in addition to the fear of losing hope, I've seen the fear of losing that ability to care.
Fine.
Right, but what I'm trying to get at is, it's a really important choice. Almost all therapists that I've known are somewhere in this space. They've protected their ability to care, because the alternative is to be 4 years old and go, there's nothing I can do. Mom is mom, or dad is dad, and they're doing their thing, and you're not in a position to let go of that yet. You care and you love from that perspective, and so you will change your power, give up your power, rearrange things to protect that ability. The ability to care is an ability that gets attached to that behavior. Did I lose you?
No, I'm.
And yes, it's a one-way thing. And that's also why it's an illusion. And that's also why it's important to work with that when you're caring from a place that really has a longing of being loved. So there is an agenda in there. No? There is a fear in there. And if you then you are hooked in codependency.
But if I don't care, I won't be caring.
But if that's the only way I know how to care. You know, one thing that is really interesting is very high percent of caregivers are stuck in will structure. And that also goes in therapists. That's one of the character structure that is very typical for people who choose caregiving jobs. And the interesting part I have seen with colleagues in Denmark, when they come from that structure and they work with that character structure in their own life, and that becomes more balanced, they lose the interest to be therapists. They want to be painters or something else.
It's like that's my dream. When I'm
Does
taking
that
care of
ring a
my
bell?
In that perspective, the caring is really attached to the longing of healing the world, because then there is time for me. And when you don't have that agenda anymore, because you have to let go and you get into a more balanced way of caring in relationship. It's a flow
You don't have
thing,
to
no?
just make nice.
If you then do not have, if you don't change your passion for your work dies with your character structure. And that goes, by the way, from all character structures. You know, you choose, let's say you choose to be a lawyer from performance.
Who would do that?
And in some way you
Or a
get
teacher.
whatever. But in some way you get pushed that much and you start sensing and changing the performance structure. You start sensing, I have to get out of here. If you're not able to change, or you are saying this environment is only, if I don't have this structure, I won't survive here. It will kill me. So where do people choose their job from? It's also pretty much attached to our character
I'm
structures.
just picturing a book right now, a career guide for your character structure.
Yeah, but honestly, you know,
You and me could feel.
I can't let go of my will structure until my mother dies.
no,
And I have this every day. I have this fantasy that when she dies, I'm going to be living on a beach in paint. I'm having in a third world country where somebody's going to be cooking for me, taking care of me.
Thailand.
Yeah, in Thailand, and having my teeth.
Let me know where it is. I'm coming.
You're coming.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're all going to Hawaii.
Yeah, right. Alika is starting a center in Hawaii.
Well, it's just interesting. It's interesting. That's also why when you sometimes step in another environment that you are used to, sniff what is the predominant structures here. No?
Right.
Maybe they're not mine, and therefore I sense a little awkward, or I don't know how to connect,
Right.
or I maybe judge them, you know, because I don't have that as a predominant thing. It's not right and wrong. It's interesting.
There's hope for me.
It's all for all of us, you know. My part of my will structure where I fall into immediately guilt, you know, it disappeared with my grandmother's death, and I really loved my grandmother. But there were no person in the world who could make me experience guilt as fast as her. She just needed to say, hello, it's grandma, and I was overwhelmed of guilt already. No, it's like, what have I forgot? What have I not done? Yes.
What did she say?
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Is
said, was
she
she
Jewish?
Jewish? She says yes.
Yes, she was the Jewish part of the family. She looked very Jewish. No?
Got it.
Interesting, no? Not the Jewish part, but that this happened, and you know, when she died right here. I was laying with her, you know, singing songs, talking to her, talking about her husband, and the moment she was, and I was waiting, you know, when people die, there comes an extra breath about a little after, and when she was and died, and then I waited for the, then it was like, oh, you know, not that, oh, you know, I hate you, but this double binding was set free, in some way. Yeah? Okay.